Good morning, it's just before 7 a.m. Coco and I are hitting the road for another farm trip. This is episode 21, I think, and we've got about 4 hours drive. We need to get over there by about 11 this morning, so we can't muck around. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. We do a lot of clean out jobs. We do retailing of secondhand items. We do recycling. We do all that. And part of one of the biggest clean out jobs of my life is my parents' farm. So quick rundown. Mum and Dad sold the property. They're in their mid-80s, and the neighbour bought it, and he said they can stay on the farm for as long as they're able to. Well, this year Dad's health has gone downhill a bit and he's actually in care at the moment. Mum doesn't want to stay on the property because it's about 4 hours drive for me, and it's a similar drive to my brother who's in Melbourne. And you know, when you get to that age, a lot of your friends and associates through life have already departed. So she's considering moving over to Ngambia where we live. We do have to clean the farm up. That was part of the deal when it was sold, and it's a big job. So we've been working at it for a while. The first few episodes on this playlist, we were dealing with some machinery. I think sold a bit of that on eBay. I have been gradually cleaning the farm up for probably 15 years. I've been bringing stuff back to Ngambia and selling it through my second-hand shop. So the process has been ongoing for some time. And it just has to get a little bit faster now because obviously the Ross, the guy that bought the farm, our neighbour, wants it cleaned up. So yeah, heading back this week. We'll go and see Dad. He's moved to another care facility now. He's doing okay, but he's he's not likely to be back home. So that's what this trip involves. 2 or 3 days over there. We might get a couple of episodes of this series in. We'll see what treasures we can find in the shed. I'll pack up some more scrap metal and stuff to bring back. And basically, it's just cleaning up. It's just recycling what we can. The farm never had enough good quality stuff to have a proper auction, to have a clearing sale. So we've just been pegging away at it for quite a long time. Anyway, we've got to make some kilometres, so we better keep driving. We'll catch you soon. Okay, our first stop, we've just pulled up alongside the road near a public toilet, and look what's in here, Coco, our brekkie. Christine's done a sterling job, eh? Haven't you got a good mummy? You get ham and cheese sandwiches for breakfast? So do I. We have some salami. I better make a coffee, and we'll have our brekkie, and we'll hit the road again. And we arrived at the farm at 5 minutes to 11, and perfect timing. Had a quick coffee and took off to do some emergency shopping for various things we had to get organised. Then we went up to see Dad, and he's been moved a bit further away. It's about a 40-minute drive to go and see him, and he's going pretty well. And then we got back here about 6 in the evening, so it was a pretty big day driving. I came out after tea into the shed here to continue my clean-up that I was doing last time. So I've just been same old, just packing up boxes. I did bring some extra tubs and crates with me this time. And just continued working along the back wall that you will remember from last time. So I've got a bit further along there, just unpacking stuff. I'm sorting the scrap metal straight into drums so that they can go in the van, and next time I go down to the scrapyard, they'll be ready to go straight down. Other boxes I'm sorting into various hardware that can be sold, and just stuff that will probably go to the transfer station here because it's of no real value. Some old door lock fittings, some more plumbing fittings, lots of random stuff as you would expect. I did find this. It's a timber, it's an oil stone in a timber case or timber box, and that looks my name, like it is my name from my high school days perhaps, or maybe college. I've obviously made that in woodwork, and it's probably never really been used. So I might take that back home. I certainly can sell it. This old safe, I don't know if I've mentioned in a previous video, came from a general store in a small town near here, and I believe it was stolen one time and actually taken from the store. I might have given you this story in a previous video, and it was found down by the creek, actually opened. So a long time ago it was a heist, and perhaps cash and gold was stolen. I have no idea. Make up the story to whatever suits your imaginations. But it's a great store for things like welding rods and things that have to stay dry. And yeah, we'll have to move that at some stage, as I've mentioned. So I'm working along this bench. There's just a lot of boxes of just random bolts. So they'll pretty well all go in the scrap metal. I will sell whatever I can. And there's an army box there. I'm not sure what's in that. I've been dragging some stuff down up the top here that can go out to the transfer station as scrap metal. The trailer I loaded last trip is still loaded, so I'll go and grab that now and we'll take that out this morning to get rid of it. We have the Fergie tractor going again, which is great news, so I can use that later today to move some machinery around. Steve got the fuel tank back on, no more leaks. We still have to sort out some wiring, but at least we can use it now, and we'll have to put the bonnet back on it at some stage. But it's nice to have that operational again. We also Steve filled a lot more drums with wheat out of the silo that I was doing in the last trip. So there should be plenty of chook feed here. And the other two that I filled last trip have been used. Well, they're being used, and that's proving very handy for Mum. So I'm hoping to get this old binder out of this shed probably this afternoon, and we'll do some photos of that. And we might advertise that on Facebook Marketplace. And here's the scrap metal that I loaded up last time. So we'll go and top this up now, tie it down, and we can get rid of that this morning. I might also take a photo of all these old scrap drums. Some of them haven't even got bottoms in them, but we might take a photo, put them on Facebook Marketplace at $5 each or something. There's another stack of them out in the lane, so they may as well go. Now that we've finished the scrap metal run, it's time to tick a few jobs off the list, and one of them was putting a power board on the wall here at the back of the farmhouse. This will just make it more convenient for Mum to plug in the pump to pump water up to the high tank, and also there's a sump pump to pump out the pit for where the shower water and everything goes. Remembering that we're on a farm and we don't have normal town amenities as far as water runoff and storm water and all that sort of stuff goes. So underneath that particularly large tree, I think it's some sort of paperbark tree, and it's done very well because a lot of the house wastewater goes out into the garden there through a pit, but occasionally it needs pumping out. And if I don't dazzle you with sunlight, up above here we have a high tank that rainwater needs to be pumped up into that to gravity feed to the house. So just a bit of organising here. I don't need to go to too much trouble because it's only while Mum's still staying here. There's a fair chance that when she moves, this old farmhouse will probably be knocked down. And if you think that looks a little bit crooked, it probably is, because if anyone's ever built or done renos on old timber houses, and this place is well over 130 years old, nothing is square. So I've just butted a little bit of architrave board that I found in the shed, and I've just butted it up underneath. This is a cement sheet lining that Dad's put on at some stage, so that will work quite well there. I'll just run the cord through the old louver window, and that job will be completed. And that job's all finished. It's neat enough. It's nothing that a normal electrician would be proud of, but it would do the job here. Couldn't find any of the plastic clips, so I used the old-fashioned bend a nail over method. I've got the cord going in the top of the wire screen, so it's just cut a little slot there so the fly wire still will keep the flies out. So there we go, and we've continued our cords around various rafters to where they're required. And now to get some tractor action happening, I got the Fergie started okay, and we're just bringing it around now. I wanted to hook up the old binder in the shed and drag it out so I can do some photos. This is a binder that Dad bought for spares many years ago. He never actually used it. He used to run quite a lot of other of these old Reaper binders, and this one's just been parked in the shed for a long time. I think he may have taken a few parts off it, but it's still mostly complete. So I've just got a linkage across, like a little drawbar across the 3-point linkage. And I found an old bolt that will go in. The beauty about using 3-point linkage is we can lift it up to take the weight off the stump there. And I put a nut on the bottom because the bolt I found is actually a bit sloppy, but it will still do, but at least with a nut on the bottom it can't possibly fall off. So once I'm happy with that being secured, we will go back and lift the 3-point linkage up a little bit and then take the block and the concrete piece away and hopefully drag it out. It's a very tight fit in that shed. There wasn't much room either side, and as you'll see, it was a little bit of an interference fit. So I'll get these out of the road, throw them to one side. The old binder's on steel wheels, and it's actually in transport position, as you'll see when we drag it out. The drawbar there normally is removed from it, and it's operated in the other direction. So we take up a bit of a slop here, drag it out. The wheels have been sort of partially buried in the dirt from sitting there so long, and I couldn't go straight ahead because the chook shed was in the road, so I had to turn, and it just rubs a little bit on the side of the old shearing shed. Beauty about the old machinery is it's really pretty hard to damage it, and the shed survived quite well once we got past. So now that we got it out, that shed, the machinery shed's almost completely finished except for that grain cleaner there. And it's a pretty cool old contraption, this one. As I said, this is in transport mode, and also the real assembly's been dismantled, but I'm not going to put all that back together. It's now about 8 o'clock in the evening. I'm spending another hour or two out in the shed just doing a bit of sorting out. I did some photos of the old binder. I did some photos of some 44-gallon drums, and I rounded up a few more. I got a few smaller drums that I've taken the tops out for sorting some scrap metal here, and we moved a pile of wood and a few other just general tidy up jobs today. So it's been a pretty productive day. One thing's for sure, I certainly sleep well when I come over to the farm because they are long days. I'm enjoying sorting out this farm shed, but it is slow going, and you can see the area behind me now. They've pretty well done along that wall. There is still stuff in the cupboards next to me here, but we'll work through that. I won't get too much of that done this time, but I do want to take some more scrap back because I'm hoping to do a load to Melbourne soon. We've got a lot of bottles and containers out of various other sheds of Mum's to take back to Ngambia, and they'll all go in the recycling stream. So we're getting rid of a lot of quantity, which is good. We are sorting stuff out, getting a few maintenance jobs done, so fairly successful. I'm going to call this episode finished now. It's only Tuesday evening now. I've really only been here one day because yesterday afternoon was more driving around and we caught up with Dad. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll go and see Dad again. And it is a 40-minute drive up there, so that's going to take a bit of time out of the day as well. But we found out that early next week he's going to be moving to another aged care facility, which is much closer to here. It's only about 10-12 minutes drive in a nearby little town, and he'll be well looked after there. He's been going pretty good, and if he's stable and his meds are under control and he's mobile enough, we may even be able to bring him back to the farm for a couple of hours just on a day outing, which will be really good. And I'm sure Dad would really love that because I would imagine he's had a bit of time to reflect sitting in hospital, and I guess you start to think, well, you'll never see the farm again. So if that happens, that's great. If it doesn't happen, so be it. We've just got to deal with it. But that's happening next week. I won't be back here next week. I'll probably be the week after. We'll just work that out as things go. So thanks for watching. I will get another episode up maybe tomorrow, and I'm going back early Thursday morning. Maybe I won't. You'll have to keep an eye on it and see when the next episode's out. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time. Bye for now.